Hey, Cowboys fan, let's talk about what's happening with our team right now. The secondary has been one of our biggest strengths, but injuries are testing that depth. And just when it felt like things couldn't get more challenging, news broke today. The Dallas Cowboys hosted former All-Pro cornerback Xavien Howard for a workout. It's a move that could shake things up, and honestly, it feels like the right time to take a closer look. With key players like Trevin Diggs and rookie Kellen Carson dealing with injuries, we've seen how tough it is to maintain that same level of dominance. Sure, getting Darren Bland back is great, but let's be real, depth matters in this league, especially heading into the critical stretch of the season. Could Howard be the answer we need? You probably already know how talented this guy is, but the real question is, does signing him make sense for the Cowboys right now? That's what we're going to break down today. Before we dive deeper, I'd love to hear from you. What's your take on Howard joining the Cowboys? Would he be a game changer or just a risky move at this stage? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, I'll be reading them. And if you're new here, or even if you've been watching for a while but haven't hit that button yet, now's the perfect time to subscribe to the channel and enable notifications. Your support is what helps us keep bringing you the latest Cowboys updates, and we're so close to hitting our goal of 12,000 subscribers. Let's make it happen together. Alright, now that we've set the stage, let's dive into who Xavien Howard really is. If you follow the NFL closely, you know this guy isn't just another cornerback. Howard's career speaks for itself. He's a two-time All-Pro, a four-time Pro Bowler, and, get this, he's led the league in interceptions twice. That's not luck, that's elite talent. Howard was drafted by the Miami Dolphins back in 2016 as a second-round pick, and from the moment he stepped onto the field, it was clear he was special. Over 8 seasons in Miami, he racked up 331 tackles, 95 pass deflections, 29 interceptions, and even scored for defensive touchdowns. That's a resume most players only dream of. But it's not just about stats with Howard. His ability to read quarterbacks, anticipate plays, and make game-changing interceptions is what sets him apart. Remember those seasons in 2018 and 2020 when he led the league in interceptions? That wasn't a fluke, it was a masterclass in defensive awareness. Now, at 31 years old, he's a free agent, which means he's available for the taking. Sure, he's not the same young star he was a few years ago, but veterans like Howard bring more than just skills. They bring leadership, experience, and a mentality that can elevate an entire defense. So what do you think? Are Howard's past accomplishments enough to outweigh concerns about his age or potential injuries? Let's get a conversation going in the comments. I'm curious to hear where you stand. Oh, and while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Help us reach that 12,000 subscriber milestone. It's a small click for you, but it's a huge boost for our Cowboys community. Now, let's keep things rolling and talk about why the Cowboys are even considering Howard in the first place. So why are the Cowboys even looking at Xavien Howard right now? It all boils down to one word: depth. Let's face it, this season hasn't been kind to our cornerbacks. Losing Trevin Diggs, one of our top defensive stars, to groin and knee injuries was a huge blow. And on top of that, rookie Kellen Carson is still out with a shoulder issue. It's left the secondary looking thin, even with Darren Bland back in action. The thing is, the Cowboys' defense thrives on versatility and playmakers, especially in the secondary. Without enough healthy corners, we're not just losing talent, we're losing options. Teams know this and they're starting to exploit it. So, the front office bringing in someone like Xavien Howard for a workout? That's a sign they're taking this problem seriously. But Howard isn't just a filler. He's the kind of player who could elevate this defense if he still has some juice left in the tank. Imagine pairing his ball-hawking skills with Bland's speed and instincts. Suddenly, our secondary goes from a question mark to a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Of course, there's always the other side of the coin, bringing in a veteran midseason. isn't without risks, especially when that veteran is 31 and has dealt with his share of injuries. But let me ask you this. Is it better to take a chance on someone proven like Howard or to gamble on rookies and backups in high-stakes games? I'd love to know where you stand. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, take a moment to vote in the poll we posted here. Would you side Howard if you were in charge, yes or no? Let's see what the Cowboys community really thinks. Before we move on, don't forget subscribing to the channel is the best way to stay in the loop about every Cowboys decision this season. Hit that subscribe button, enable the notifications, and join us as we break down everything happening with America's team. Next up, let's weigh the pros and cons of signing Howard. Trust me, there's a lot to unpack here. Alright, now let's break this down. Signing Xavien Howard could be a game changer, but it's not without its risks, so let's weigh the pros and cons together. The pros first off, Howard brings experience. With 8 seasons under his belt, he's seen it all: playoff battles, high-pressure moments, and top-tier competition. That's something you can't teach, and it's exactly what a team like the Cowboys needs heading into the latter part of the season. Then there's his playmaking ability. Even at 31, Howard is a turnover machine. Remember, this is the guy who led the league in interceptions twice. Imagine the momentum shift he could bring with just one big play in a tight game. Pairing that with players like Micah Parsons pressuring quarterbacks, it's enough to give any opposing offense nightmares. Finally, let's talk leadership. The Cowboys' locker room has plenty of young talent, but veterans like Howard bring a different kind of presence. He could mentor guys like Darren Bland and Kellen Carson, showing them what it takes to succeed long-term in the league. The cons now. Here's the flip side. Howard's ages. Something we can't ignore. At 31, he's past his prime, and cornerbacks tend to decline faster than other positions. Can he still keep up with younger, faster receivers? That's the big question. Then there's his health. Howard's had some injury issues in recent seasons, and bringing him in midseason could be a gamble. What happens if he goes down again? The Cowboys can't afford to invest in someone who won't stay on the field. Finally, let's not forget the cap space. Veteran players don't come cheap, and the Cowboys need to think long-term. Does signing Howard hurt their ability to make moves in the offseason? So, what's your take? Do the pros outweigh the cons, or is this a gamble we shouldn't take? Let me know in the comments, and while you're there, cast your vote. Should the Cowboys sign Xavien Howard or look elsewhere? And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to keep up with every move the Cowboys make. Next, let's talk about how this move could impact the rest of the season. Stick with me. Let's take a moment to imagine the ripple effect Xavien Howard could have if the Cowboys bring him in. What could this mean for the rest of the season? First, there's the immediate boost to the secondary. Adding a veteran like Howard doesn't just plug a hole, it raises the entire unit's level of play. He's the type of player offenses have to account for, which could force quarterbacks to hold the ball longer. And with our pass rush, that could lead to more sacks, turnovers, and shorter drives for the opposition. Then there's the psychological impact. Think about how the rest of the team would feel knowing the front office is willing to make a bold move to help them win. A signing like this sends a message: we're all in. It's the kind of confidence boost that can change a team's mindset heading into critical games. But it's not just about the defense. If Howard helps lock down opposing receivers, the offense gets more opportunities to work with better field position. That's a win for everyone, right? Of course, we have to consider the downside too. If the gamble doesn't pay off, if Howard's age or health become an issue, then it's a missed opportunity and a drain on resources. The Cowboys can't afford many missteps this late in the season. So let me ask you, if Howard joins, how far do you think this team can go? Will it push us into Super Bowl contention, or is it too late to make that kind of impact? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear your predictions. And as always, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Enable notifications to stay updated on every development. The road to the playoffs is heating up, and you don't want to miss a thing. Next, we'll wrap it all up and talk about what to expect moving forward. So here we are at the end of this breakdown, and one thing is clear: bringing in Xavien Howard could be a pivotal move for the Cowboys, but whether or not it happens, there's no denying the team is looking for answers to solidify the secondary before the season reaches its peak. Howard's resume speaks for itself: All-Pro honors, Pro Bowl appearances, and a reputation as one of the league's top ball hogs. If the Cowboys decide to sign him, it could inject new energy and leadership into a defense that's already proven itself capable of dominating. But like we discussed earlier, it's not without its risks. Here's where I turn it over to you. Do you think the Cowboys should make this move, or is it better to stick with the current roster and focus on developing younger players? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective, especially on whether Howard is the missing piece or just a roll of the dice. And hey, if you've made it this far, let me just say thank you. Your support means the world to us. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We're so close to reaching our goal of 12,000 subscribers, and with your help, we can get there. Every subscription helps us continue bringing you the latest news and updates about our Cowboys. Stay tuned, because as this story unfolds, you know we'll have all the details right here. Whether it's Howard or someone else, one thing's for sure: this team is gearing up for an exciting finish to the season. Until next time, Cowboys Nation, let's keep that star shining bright.